जयपुर वाया कोटा।
कृपया ध्यान आपको अहमदाबाद
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत.
Lucknow Junction.
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವ ರೈಲು
পরবর্তী স্টেশন নেতাজি ভবন. कृपया ध्यान दियो.
This IPL, we've been used to last ball, last over finishes. So in this game, when we knew the experienced Shikhar Dhawan went on the first ball, we knew where this game was headed. It was a super gigantic win for Lucknow. Welcome back to Cricbuzz Live. My name is Saiyami Kher. I've got Pommie and Harsha with me. A 56-run win. Huge win when there is 257 to chase. You know where the game's going to go, and then you lose your most experienced batter in the first ball. So nothing really went right for Punjab after.
I mean, when was the last time you saw 201 made and it didn't hold you?
True.
I mean, 201 is a really good score. I thought Atharva Taide actually played really well up at the starts. Some eyebrows raised, you know, we got Livingston to come, we got Raza to come, Shah Rukh to come. But he went and did all right. Later, I didn't understand the batting order. But I think Pommie feels a little more strongly than I do about that batting order. Not even looking there.
He's looking, he's
Go on,
giving you the
Pommie.
stare. He's giving you the stare.
I'm just listening. I mean, you have resources and you have to utilize them. And there is the necessity, I think, to be kind of flexible and accepting that things you might not plan to do may need to be done in certain games, in particular conditions. And then you've got to kind of go with that rather than just be rigid in your thinking and then go, oh, maybe if we had at the end of it all. Because you get the same result, don't you? But the thing that you don't get is the knowledge of whether it might actually give you a chance or not. And it's not to say, on a day like today, it's not to say that you do it another way and you will win the game. Because, let's be honest, it's highly unlikely that you're going to chase 257. But give your best batters, your most destructive batters, optimum opportunity to be able to do it. And today was a day where you probably needed, unlike if you watched LSG, unlike with LSG where everyone gets runs and you get to 257, today you probably needed one of them to play an innings, to have many deliveries. So let's ask the question, and it's not to have a go at Taide at all, actually. It's to say, let's give Liam Livingston 36 balls and 40 balls. What happens then? That's the question you've got to be asking. So who needs to face the most balls in your side if you're going to win and give them that opportunity?
So by the time Livingston comes into bat, it's 109 for 3. You've got 8.5 overs left and 148 runs to get in 8.5 overs. That even if you and I bowl, sorry, you bowl well, both hands, that even if I bowl, he should not get.
No, so would you have picked him to come before Raza or Atharva Taide?
Minimum before Raza, but if he's designated as your number one match winner now, that's what you're thinking on the outside.
Yes.
I don't know if that's what they're thinking on the inside, given how he's playing the nets, what his form is, but that's what we are thinking from here. Then he should bat at 3.
And let's remember, so people say, oh, no, but isn't Raza good? Yeah, Raza is good, but let's remember he got player of the match and got dropped for Livingston.
Is he the best?
That's already making a statement, isn't it? So if that's the way you're going to go, what you're saying is this guy as your asset is one of your most valued ones, and he is going to be one who's going to win you games. And it's not necessarily with ball in hand, because with ball in hand, when situation is like this, nobody really is going to win you the game. So it's about who can, who's the power hitter, who can match your opposition and go one better on a day. That they're having a day. You got to have a day. And if you're having a day, then you can knock them over. But you're not going to have a day for 30 balls, not to chase 260. That's going to be difficult.
I mean, I've watched Raza a lot. Where does he bat for his home side, which is Zim? He bats a lot for Zim. He bats around the world in T20 tournaments. He bats 5-6. Largely 5, sometimes 6. He goes in and finishes games. whereas he's here batting at 4. So, I mean, they had a lot of power down, but by the time that power got the opportunity, you're asking,
It's too late.
Too much to get.
Also, yeah, we mustn't fall into the trap of this is wrong, that is wrong, that is wrong, that is whatever. Every game, one side wins, one side doesn't. That's just how it goes. And who does things better? Who could have done things different? You know, why did they see it this way? Why did they not see it that way? As a question. The other side, today, actually, I look at it and I go, even with things having been done better by the side batting second, the side batting first won the game by batting. That's basically what happened. I mean, Kyle Mayers sets the tone.
Yes, absolutely.
And he just unleashes absolutely everybody. And once he's done that and everyone comes and plays in the same fashion, they discover things about themselves, the Lucknow Super Giants. And maybe they kind of latently were there and they knew about them, but they rediscover them. And going from a game where they lose and should have won.
136 is what they couldn't defend. And
from
there,
not playing shots, right? They were not playing any shots. They've come out and gone almost totally opposite, and everyone's played a shot a ball, and they've got 256 to say, hey, hold on. If we play a shot or two here, people are in trouble. You know, it doesn't matter which team you're playing against, you're in trouble if they play shots.
You know, we'll have a look at the bowling card. I know you said that the batsmen did everything that was needed for them to win. The bowling, a lot of bowlers were used because of what happened to Stoinis, because unfortunately it looked really painful what happened. It almost felt like that finger went to the boundary. It was really hard. So I think there was only Rahul and Puran who haven't bowled. I think pretty much, you know.
Yeah, but only bowled one ball.
Yeah.
But that's okay. But you used 8 bowlers. That is always, I mean, when we looked at how LSG was structured a couple of years ago, it was structured with a lot of all-rounders. Then they let some go, but they've still got a lot of options, as you can see. 2 names there. Of course, Naveen Ulhaq stands out.
Yes.
I also think that Ravi Bishnoi might have had an over or two, but he actually bowled pretty well. And he got the big wicket, didn't he?
Yeah.
Ravi Bishnoi got the big wickets. But I'm very impressed with Naveen Ulhaq's change of pace. I mean, there were a couple of occasions when the batter had finished the shot. I mean, Rajat Bhatia sitting downstairs in the Hindi studio. Rajat Bhatia used to do that to people. They'd finish the shot and wouldn't know whether the ball coming was the previous one or this one.
No, but great figures. 4 overs, 30 and 11 dots. So the dots there also make the figures.
I mean, he was picked as the backup to Mark Wood.
Yes.
All good, well-structured teams have their lead player and a good backup in case something happens. He's more than a backup.
So Prabhsimran, Karan and Rabada, 3 big wickets is what he got.
Yeah, and we spoke about him before the start of play, right? He's a good bowler. It was Harsha who was talking about experience all around the world, go and play. And in the time, well, now I was saying to you that he bowls in tough periods up at the front and at the back, and yet he goes at 8 and over. And so you saw why that happens, because he can bowl slower balls. He's got a quick one. And he knows when to bowl and has the sense of what's happening in the game and which skill to use at what time. So yeah, and today the bowlers will be sitting in the change room and saying, "Thanks, batters." You know, essentially it was about, I look after my figures. Don't go for too many now. I'll be okay. They're not going to get 260. If they do, then woof.
I mean, they still got 201. Can you imagine if it was a 220 chase? If it was a 220 chase, we would have had a cracker of a game.
Game on.
Yeah.
But you know, you spoke about Naveen Ulhaq in the mid-match, I think. When you spoke about how you don't realize, because he's not that big star player and he's played so many games across so many leagues. He's somebody who clearly seems to have a check on his temperament, because not only today's game, of course, he had the runs on board for him, but he's somebody who just seems like he's very calm. He knows what he wants to do where. He has a plan in mind.
You know, the more I'm watching T20 cricket, the more I'm thinking being this big global star can sometimes work against you, because you must be aware that you will play badly someday and be happy to do that in quest of trying to be very good. With Naveen Ulhaq's case, he's been in so many situations before. So actually, he's a very, very experienced bowler. And you see around what's happening, Patirana and Tikshana, you see at CSK, you see Naveen Ulhaq here. These are players who've gone around a little bit and played around, in his case, a little bit more, and are emerging as wonderful bowlers. It's a good selection, that. Naveen Ulhaq, I'm happy, is coming good. How many players from Afghanistan are doing well?
Even Noor was very good.
Noor
the other
Ahmed,
day.
Rashid
Yes.
Khan is in orbit.
he's-
He's in a different league.
There's Gurbaz
Naveen
who's
Iraq
done
is doing
well.
well. Gurbaz has
Yeah.
done well. I think the IPL, much like Shakib, never saw the best of Mohammad Nabi, who's a much better player than the IPL could see. But you're already talking of 5 players in there from the Afghanistan side. It's fantastic.
Pommie, worry for Lucknow there with what happened to Stoinis because he looked so good with the bat, but that injury doesn't look very good.
Dislocated finger. Be back in. Be sore.
Dislocated or broken? We don't know yet, or do you know?
I think it looked dislocated. I don't think it was broken.
So you think he comes back in the next game that soon?
When do they play?
Where
I'm
are they
trying to think
playing?
when they
It's a
play.
good idea to check when they're
I
playing
think it's
next.
it's on the 1st of May, so there's still, well,
They're playing on the 1st of
3
May.
days, 3 days to go.
Yeah, look, the issue is going to be pain, and what Harsha asked, whether it's broken or not. If it's not broken and it's just pain, it'd be fine. I think it'd be painkillers and all the rest, and it should be okay, particularly in the touch that is in. Although you'll say, there is the opportunity to rest him and let him be okay, and they've got enough in terms
Well,
of
they've got
reserves.
Dickov
And then Quinton de
waiting,
Kock comes and handles 60 or 32 balls. They
So
don't know what to do.
they've got reserves, and that's so I don't think it's so much of a problem. Ideally, you don't want people to be getting injured. You don't want anyone to get injured. Particularly people who are in form. But as far as I'm concerned, I think the only thing that keeps coming to my mind is these guys have kind of rediscovered themselves on a good track, but an unshackled mind. Someone must have said to them, let's get out there and just play. Let's see what we can do if we play. And this is what he did. Fantastic. It's a big difference if he has time, isn't it?
Yes.
He can do this.
Could have been Livingston
No,
there.
in the very first game, there was this theory going around that they forgot they had Stoinis. He came in and batted at 8.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
I mean,
But he was in a lot of pain. I mean, that pain was overcoming the resilience. You could see that the tears were coming out of pain, but he was fighting them back. The resilience was breaking down. He was in a lot of pain.
Because it hit him, and with the finger he turned behind to get the physio in. It was that immediate, like that.
Yeah. So hopefully he'll be back, because from his point of view, he's just hitting form. You don't want a player like that to go. I mean, you felt for, say, Washington Sundar.
Yes.
Difficult start to the tournament, just starting to get it right, and he's had to
And
leave
he's
the
gone.
tournament. So you don't want that to happen to Stoinis.
But then if you all had to pick, because Stoinis has got that 72 or 40, you all said Mayers led the way for everyone.
Yeah.
If you all had to pick of the man of the match between Mayers and Stoinis today, who
For
would
me,
it be?
Mayer.
Same, yeah. I just think about games and how they start. So many times when people talk about sitting the tone, they don't really talk about batters, because they say, both batters will go use the power play and all the rest. But think about bowlers, and if bowler turns up and he bowls first over, bowls it really well, and what happens in the game? There's sort of a hush and, wicket down or whatever it is. How often do we talk about Trent Boult and how he starts a game for Rajasthan? You set the tone by the way you bowl that first over, by the way you bat up at the front like he did here, and everybody else can then follow. Kind of fill the room, the team with belief, and not just for a short period. That is fantastic striking up at the top.
He's got 54 out of 74 in the power play. You got 74 in the power play. You got 54 out of those in the power play. That's why I would think so. Are you trying to tell me it's somebody else?
No, I don't think. It was just
It's too early.
They've not announced
It's
it yet.
too
It
early.
was just to know where you all are going. This could be a little controversial, but I'm still going to ask.
Okay. 1 minute. Okay. I'm just getting ready.
Not so controversial. Guys,
sitting.
relax.
Okay, I think
Not
I'm
so
ready. I'm ready.
controversial.
Okay.
This
But
is
do-
my defensive pose.
Okay.
No, I take that back. It's a simple question. Do you all think Shikhar probably missed a few strategies here and there with the ball? Because, like we spoke in the comm box, it was, I think, the 11th over when Sam Curran came in. Do you think he was not attacking enough? It almost felt like he forgot he had a few bowlers,
I mean, that's a hard... In the first 10 overs, he'd used one of Karan and one of Arshdeep. Almost as if to say, and let me tell you first thing up front, captaincy gets easier and easier the further and further you go from the center. So when you're sitting in a studio, it's the easiest thing in the world to do.
From the middle as in the pitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
So at the 10 over mark, he'd used one of Arshdeep and one of Karan. Almost as if he thought, let me backload them, they are my death bowlers. But by the time they came in, They were just hitting every ball. They had wickets in hand. So even when there's a storm, when there's a tornado coming your way, you can be a powerful structure, you still get blown away.
True.
And they all got blown away in that. I thought if he'd used his assets up front a little bit more, he could have prevented that from happening, because he used literally everybody else. I'm just trying to see who he used in the power play. Yeah, there. He had 3 overs of Gurnur Brar in the first 7-8 overs. Playing his first game. So
unfortunately, it was the first ball he was dropped,
on
and then
things,
from there it all just went a little downhill because he went for 42 runs.
I think Rabada had bowled 1 over in the power play. Yeah, 1 over in the power play, Rabada.
In the same way that we say of batters, if you're Marcus Stoinis, why are you sitting outside when there's a game to be won? If you're Livingston, why aren't you going in early? Same sort of thought process has to be with your bowling resource, especially in a game where batters will hold sway. So what you want is your best bowlers to be competing with those who are going to do the damage. And they've got to be competing with them early, because that's the best chance of getting anyone out. That's the best chance of anyone making an error out of execution other than anything else. Also, maybe a few nerves. I don't know if they have nerves these days with 2020, the way they play. But that's what you want. You want your Rabadas, your Curran, your Arshdeep to try and affect the game early so that they kind of set up the way it's going to go. And it kind of was okay. Rabada, a couple of wickets early. And you think, oh, yeah, maybe. But with it still going, you then had to make sure that fight was had there, so there was less of a fight further down.
I mean, when I saw the team, you look at it and say, okay, who's very good at the death? Sam Curran good at the death, yes. Arshdeep good at the death. What does that allow you to do? When you've got 2 really good bowlers who can have 2 overs apiece at the death, it allows you to release a strike force at the top, which is what Bumrah and Bolt used to do. You got Bumrah at the back, you can release Bolt in front. So they had the opportunity of actually maybe even bowling 3 of Rabada up front and say, just go and bowl quick. Just go and take me wickets. It doesn't matter. I might only bowl you 3. So in those first 6, you had 1 from Sikandar Raza, you had 2 from the young kid Gurnur Brar. So, by the time the main bowlers, it had become too late.
And
that's
again,
my view.
And again, no guarantees that they would have got them out.
Yeah,
later, yeah,
but
true.
at least you're taking the aggressive option. You're attacking. And I even think where conditions less favor you, you almost have to
Go with the
attack
better
more.
one. Correct.
Yeah, you fight fire with fire, because you're not going to be defensive on a road like that. Like you can try as much as you want. And then the best you can do is you'll sort of go at 10s and 11s because the game is at 12s and 13s. So does it really help you or does it not? If you're trying to defend. But if you're attacking, perhaps then you actually do hold them.
Let's have a look at the points table, because we said that both these teams were hungry, and Lucknow's gone to 2 because that run rate, because a 56-run win really helps in that last column there.
It's big. The 6 games left to make up, but as the number of games increases, the fluctuation in the net run rate will be less and less. So this is the time to keep climbing up, because once the numbers are much larger, if you have a 15-20 run win, it doesn't make such a big difference. But at the moment, to be honest, these 4 are looking the best 4 teams at the moment in the tournament. I mean, Bangalore are at 5, and they had, in Virat's word yesterday, a freebie.
Yes.
Yeah, which I'd love to know what KKR thought of that, but that's a separate issue. But they're just there, 8 from 8. But at the moment, these 4 are looking the 4 better teams.
All right, then.
There's one other stat. Last year, someone told me this at the game the other day. We both were in Bangalore.
Yes.
Last year, at the halfway mark, the teams that were top 4 finished top 4.
Yes. Well, we never know unless there is a dark horse somewhere down there who goes and wins all their games. We've got 2 exciting games tomorrow because it's going to be a super Saturday. So first up, Kolkata take on Gujarat, and that's game number 39. This happens in Kolkata. Well, this game has a history to it, because the last time both these teams played against each other, we all know what happened. It was a historic game where Rinku came and did the impossible. So clearly Gujarat will be wanting that revenge from Kolkata. And
Kolkata is the highest scoring ground this year, I think.
Yes.
It's the highest scoring ground this year. So both teams will be primed to play a 200-210 game. It might become 240, it might become 256, who knows? But they have to prime to play that game. And we talked about Livingston today. I'd love to see Kolkata make use of a batting resource that they have grossly underused so far, and that's Andre Russell. I don't know why Andre Russell has to bat at a certain number. I wouldn't mind Andre Russell going out to bat at 4.
Let's have a look at the squad, because
They've got a lot
who
of
will he
power.
come in? Because who will he come in for if you want to send him at 4? We'll have a look at
Yeah.
Kolkata's squad there. There is no Litun Das tomorrow because he goes back for
Yes.
emergency. Roy has been very good up at the top order, so is Jagdishan. But if you have to get in, Andy Russ at 4.
I don't know who'll keep wickets, but I would have Venkatesh Iyer opening with Jason Roy.
Okay.
I'd have Nitish Rana at 3, and I'd use Russell as a floater and see how he goes. Because the other day, I mean, they got a lot of runs, but Jagdishan was struggling. If you know it's going to be a 210 kind of track, then I'd release Jason Roy. I mean, he only plays one way, but I'd be a little careful about Jagdishan, whose strike rate has not been great. Why not send Venkatesh Iyer up to open?
Well, they've constantly changed their opening partnership,
Yeah.
so just another one. It will be someone new.
Look, in thinking about the way things have gone, and I think I've kind of proffered this before, thinking, okay, so has everyone been unleashed? Has every side had an innings here, an innings there, where they can see that they need to go really hard and they are able. And I think everyone has. More than personnel, I think how they play, because they'll sort them out okay. And yes, depending on situation, you can send Russell in, but it also depends who's left. If you are asking the question right now, with the way things are going, Rinku Singh's sitting there and Andre Russell sitting there, who do you send in? The answer will be Rinku Singh, because he's hitting it and he's in form right now, and I know the counter to that is we haven't seen a whole lot of Russell, so we can't really know, and he's been particularly destructive. That's why you buy him, that's why you keep him, and all the rest. But essentially, what we're saying, I guess, is use your resource. And the second thing being, go at everybody. High scoring ground, win it with bat. And again, I've said, bat first. If it's decent, bat first. Because everybody seems okay now with, hey, we're not getting just above par scores. We're getting way above par scores if we have a chance, if the conditions allow. And now scoreboard pressure is a thing. And also the bowlers have kind of had to play catch up, and they're sort of catching up. I say it's catching up better when they've got big scores to defend. They're not allowing batters to just smash it all over the place and get what are supposedly impossible scores in certain overs.
Little worried about Sunil Narayan's bowling. It's the
And also
first
the
year he's got-
seamers, I feel. Sunil Narayan and the seamers haven't really come to the
The
party.
big plus for them last game was Russell bowled well again, and they got 4 overs out of Russell. But Sunil Narayan's a bit of a worry. It's the first time he's gone at an economy over 8. When you're worried about Sunil Narayan, he's going at about 8.7, 8.8 as things stand. But Chakravarti is bowling beautifully.
And of course,
a
Suyash.
lot of time for that Suyash, man. He's bowling beautifully. So, little worry about Sunil Narayan, but a big plus if Russell is giving you 4 overs.
We'll have a look at Gujarat's squad quickly also, because Gujarat has come off that big win against MI. There was Manohar and David Miller who did very well. Noor was very good with the ball, and of course Mohit Sharma has come in and he's just said that this is my place and I'm going to do it in each game. He comes and impresses in each game.
And see the little Jayant Yadav has had a good game. 4 overs for 26, I think. Jayant Yadav had a good game. Noor Ahmed's had a good game. Shami is bowling so well. I'm almost thinking, put him in cotton wool. Put him in cotton wool. Keep him till the 7th of June, 8th of June. Just let him be there. But Shami is bowling beautifully. Pandya is bowling beautifully. Rashid Khan is bowling well. Tewatia has won them, has got 20 of 5. Vijay Shankar has had a good game. Abhinav Manohar has done well. Miller has done well. So it's a team where everyone has done well more than once. Not just once.
What they are is a confident squad.
Yes.
They are defending champions. And the way they play says they're committed to the way they decide to play.
Yeah.
And you get that from teams that are used to winning. So they've they've got tried, tested methods that have brought them results. So what you have is, even when they're tinkering with stuff, I think early in the piece, everyone's going, oh, what are they doing? Why is Miller not going up there? Because he's kind of won them the tournament in the season before. But whoever goes where is fully committed to whatever role is assigned, and they're still getting the results they need to get. And they're playing around up towards the top of the table. So, yeah, it's a side you don't really want to come up against. If you do come up against them, you've got to be on your mettle. If you're not, they'll turn you over. And in the reserves, the guys that are not playing, the guys we're not even talking about, they're pretty decent players. I mean, yeah.
Do you think
thing
Noor
I'm
will
most
play for
worried about.
Alzari tomorrow?
Who are you worried about in that squad?
I'm only worried about Hardik Pandya taking his role as captain so seriously that he's batting 3-4, 3-4, batting one way. I don't want Hardik Pandya to lose being the one of the most explosive batters in Indian cricket at the moment. So while he's playing a role for the side, I don't want him to see him only playing that role. But,
I like it. Conflicted. Yeah,
Your players, if you have to watch out for tomorrow, because it's going to be that, like I said, the revenge game, if I can put it.
Alzari for
So because there is Noor, so then they can't play Alzari. So it will be interesting to see who they go with tomorrow. I think they'll still back Noor. Do you all think you're going to get Alzari in for Noor?
Yeah, I'm trying to think conditions. High scoring. I don't think it's turned that much, is it? At Kolkata, I don't think it's turned a whole lot. So I think essentially that's what it's going to be about. It's going to be about what the conditions do, how they go. And if there's going to be a bit of spin and it's dry, then they'll go with the spin. But if it's not looking like
This.
that table over there, and it's going to go through and...
Not a bad option to have, though.
Yeah.
Alzari was coming into the tournament in red hot form.
Yes.
Yeah.
So your players to watch out for then tomorrow, one from each team.
Mohammad Shami.
He's looked beautiful.
Oh.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, because we're talking Mohammad Shami, you know the guy bowling the new ball at the other end? He's been touching 140. Every time he touches 140, we have a collective gasp saying, hang on to your back, hang on to your back. How well has he bowled the new ball?
He's enjoying it, really
He is
enjoying
showing
it.
us another facet. That's why Hardik Pandya is such a special player. He showed us he can bowl at the death. He wants to be in difficult situations. He wants to be in challenging situations. So I think what Shami has done is sort of taken away the limelight from how well Hardik has bowled. But for me, Shami.
And from KKR?
I said Russell at the start. So I just think, I mean, if there's someone
Russell
who
at
can
4.
take... Wherever. I think Russell in a game-changing position, not leaving him till so late that he just becomes a hacker.
I've liked how Nitish Rana has gone.
He's grown.
Yeah, and thrust into the leadership position because Shreyas gets injured, they can't participate in the tournament, and seems comfortable. It can be, the crown's heavy, you know.
I chatted with him at the post-game the other day, and I thought I saw a fairly balanced, fairly composed guy. I didn't think someone who was lost saying, oh, ab aage kya kare hum.
What does that mean?
I thought you knew 6 languages.
I know parts of them.
No, I mean, what do we do now? He didn't come through as someone who seemed hassled. So I was quite impressed. I mean, that was just a 3-minute conversation. But also what you see on the field, he's batting pretty well.
What I think is the kind of the adrenaline of leadership, of tough situations. You can see when it's kind of got him, as in it's there, but he's kind of controlling it. He's still able to, with clarity, go about stuff. So yeah.
So Nitish and who's it going to be from the other team?
I'm going captains.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going the 2 captains.
So we'll wait and watch if this prophecy comes true. But there's another game we have to talk about.
There is another game. It's a double header,
Yeah,
isn't
we
it?
forgot about the other game.
There's a
we went
double
on
header.
and
There's
on.
two double header days.
Here we go.
So Delhi take on Hyderabad, match number 40. It happens in Delhi. Well, I feel like this game should be copy-paste of what we spoke, I think, a few days ago, because the last time these 2 teams played were against each other. So they literally played on a Monday, if I'm not wrong, and now they play again together. So we're just discussing the same team again because they haven't played anyone else in between. But Delhi got the better of them.
Delhi got the better and Hyderabad played a strange game
Yes.
that day.
I think better shouldn't be a word we use to describe that game. It was a poor game. It just, both sides seemed in some way to be contriving to play their worst cricket. It was unbelievable to watch, actually. I thought, what is going on, And I suppose that the big thing in the end, for me anyway, was that Warner was kind of going back home. Delhi will argue the same thing, of course, because he played for them many moons ago. But he scored a whole lot of runs, and he did particularly well for Sunrisers when he played there. Going into the ground, it was fascinating watching. As you go to the various grounds, except one man. There's one man who, it doesn't matter where you're going, whenever CSK are playing, people are wearing yellow and they got his jersey on anyway, right? And that's fair enough. But going into Hyderabad, orange shirts with 31 on the back, Warner. Previous season shirts and all of that.
You saw that?
Yeah,
Interesting.
not a few. So many of them. Warner by.
I mean, he was, it was easily his second home. And at a time when Australia was unhappy with Warner and he was going through all that, he still had a home in Hyderabad.
Yes.
They were still loyal to him. And when we did the post game, he was, you could see that he was so happy to be back, waved to the Hyderabad crowd saying thank you. And then said, oh, hang on, I know I'm playing for Delhi, but Pommie is absolutely right. I mean, I'm just going back to see that scorecard, 60 for 5. I think Delhi are gone. They scraped their way through to 140. And then...
there was only Bapuji who saved them because Aksar came in and got those 2 wickets, got those 34 runs, but there was really nothing to talk about.
No, Brooks 7 of 14, Tripathi 15 of 21.
There's a story. Harry Brook, youngster, turn up. World's your oyster, and international cricket has done it and he's looked, and I love watching him. These runs he's scored in test matches and one days and whatever, it's been fantastic to watch. And then that 100 he got in Kolkata, and you think, oh, is it going to be okay? But it's tough to kind of turn up once they find out a little bit and they kind of figure out how they're going to go at you. You've got to go again, and he's learning this.
What it's done, he's had one success in 7 innings. And he started off batting in the middle. Then they said, no, we need Harry Brook to play more. In trying to push Harry Brook up the order, they've messed with 2 people. They've messed with Abhishek Sharma. They've said, sorry, you're not an opener anymore, you're batting down. And then they thought, oh, no, left-hander Abhishek Sharma, you go up. Mayank Agarwal, you come down. So in trying to accommodate someone in his first season, they've actually ended up moving 2 people around. So... I don't know how successful that is. Who batted 3? Tripathi is very good at 3. Harry Brook at 4, maybe go back at 4. It's because Harry Brook is struggling against spin that they're pushing him up to face the new ball. But you always send someone to play to their strength, not to cover a weakness. So I don't know how they'll go about it. I don't know what the atmosphere in the team is because you're trying to move things around to accommodate one person. I hope my hypothesis is wrong, but I sense that as well. So I don't know if they're now any more settled than they were at the start. But Pommie, you look at that side. How can that side be where it is?
And also, a big blow because there's no Washington Sundar. You spoke about it, touched upon it.
Another person who you were not using.
It's why I had them in my top 4.
I did too.
When we predicted at the start of the season. But I don't think that it's a bad move to have him up at the top. Yeah, have him up at the top because 4, 5, 6, those are the difficult positions. And I think they've kind of sorted those out. I like Markram and Klaasen in that middle order. I think experience, and they've played spin quite well, and they can shift and all of that. And that's good. And if you give him a go up at the top, and he just figures out how he's going to go. It's pretty difficult to put your $2 million man on the bench. That's the difficulty.
No, don't put him on the bench
when it comes to selection. But if you put him down at 4, then you don't want to make it more difficult for the guy. You know what I'm saying? Let's
quickly have a look at the squad again because I'm a big Washington Sundar fan, so I'm really not happy that he's out. Who do you think is going to make place?
Another person.
No, but I mentioned him in the list before.
Okay.
So who comes in for Washi Sundar?
Good one. They've not been using his batting very much. I don't know if they want to play an extra spinner. or whether they go with the Mayank Dagger or give Karthik Tyagi a break at some point. The good thing for them is Natarajan starting to look a little better. Markandeya is bowling beautifully. They need to get a little bit more out of Umran Malik. And Bhuvi is just like beautiful wine.
Fine wine.
Beautiful.
But you don't think an Akil Hussain can make
But
it
if Akil
because
has
of
to come in, then someone
Jansen
has to
will have
go out. I like Akil Hussain as a cricketer.
Yes.
I mean, right now he plays many parts, bowls in the power play as well, but they don't want to spin in the power play because they're using Jansen.
Tricky one.
Yeah, who do you pick for him? I think they might go with the spinner. Pick
Look,
another spinner.
Yeah, when sides are not going well, oftentimes you can just make changes, can't you? And sometimes the strange thing is whatever's not going well is not what's changed. It's something else. Yeah. And that just kind of illustrates jumbled minds, desperation and all of that. It's not yet desperation stakes though. I think they need to pick and decide where the players are going to play.
It's interesting, Brian Lara
and then
said,
go with that.
this is our opening combination and we're going to stay with it now for the next few games.
Abhishek and
But Mayank opened.
oh dear. Well, yeah.
But he did say Abhishek. He did say Brook and Abhishek. I think there is something to be said in favor of the left-hander, especially at the Eden Garden. Suppose you're playing one of the side pitch, always helps to have a left-hander and a right-hander, one of them hitting to the smaller side. So.
Well, the other team, that's Delhi, has moved things around quite a bit because Prithvi didn't make it to the last game. Salt came in for Prithvi, but that ingredient didn't work for them in the last game. So
Yeah, you can't know much about like a first ball dog. And Salt, I saw Salt in South Africa. He was magnificent. He absolutely.
Is he? I've not seen much of him. Is he one of those, when the ball comes on, I'm a wow player, but the ball doesn't?
Absolutely smoke it. Fearless up at the top, just goes at it. So if he gets going, and I think he'll get another go because, one game, one ball, away you go, it doesn't tell you anything. So he'll probably get another go.
It's unlike wanting to make so many changes, though. I still think they have to find a way to play Riley Russo in. How do they get Riley Russo in? But if you have to leave out Salt, play Russo, who keeps wickets, then they've got to find Abhishek Porel to keep wickets, who was very impressive in the game that I saw.
What a catch that was.
yeah.
So Porel has to play, then does Ripal Patel or Lalit Yadav, one of those go out. They've made so many changes. I'm looking at that side now. I don't know what's the best Delhi side.
I don't think they do either.
Which is tricky. I mean, it's not helped. When you looked on paper, you had Khalil Ahmed, left arm, quick. He doesn't play. At
Just
some
too
point,
injury prone.
like Khalil Ahmed and Prithvi Shaw, at some point, you've got to get frustrated with those two, with the ability they have and the fact that it's not come through this year.
So if you have to pick your players to watch out for from both these teams, who's it going to be?
Delhi. I would pick Anrich Nokia. He's fantastic.
He's been so
to
good.
watch. It's just, man.
He's nailing those Yorkers, eh?
No,
He's looked so
man.
good.
He bowls rockets. And it's lovely to watch.
And they need him to bowl well. So. And they need David Warner to fire because here's someone who's struggling, getting his 50s but struggling. And now you look down that batting order again saying, who's going to get me the runs? And you're still looking at Warner.
No one else putting their hand up.
When you looked initially at Warner, Russo, Marsh, Powell, how powerful a batting lineup is that?
Man.
And of those four, only one is scoring runs. So,
Yeah, we'll wait and watch what happens because, well, we all want Warner to perform, but we also want all those other power hitters to perform. Now we need to get to answering Mr. Joy Bhattacharya's question because here in the studio, you all had the answers already.
Joy,
okay.
can we say again? Prof, come on.
Which international cricketer
Come on,
of
Prof.
the 70s and early 80s averaged under 23 as a test batter, but won 18 and lost just 4 of his 31 tests as a captain? You all know it, so you all should go first.
We know the answer.
you
Go
think
for
we
it.
do, but both of us are scared in case there's a twist somewhere. I think it's
Go
Mike
for it.
Grell, isn't it?
You got it right. Was that your answer as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You Pommie was confident.
Now, those only four tests that he lost might have been the only 4 that he played against full opposition.
More
a lot of those
trivia
tests,
to
a
the-
lot of those tests came against teams that are short of pack of players.
Well, that is the answer. Mike Brearley, born on this day in 1942.
Maybe that's why he asked it, because of that. Because of, the fact that... Yeah, okay, Prof, I forgive you.
Mike really is 81. Is he 81?
Yeah, my maths is bad. I'm not getting there.
It's not maths,
50 and 23.
it's addition.
Addition. Don't do it.
It's addition.
Well, we have a lot of intelligent people who know their maths, history, geography, all of it, and who've given the answers quickly. So let's have a look.
Okay, go on.
Okay, Sridhar
Sridhar.
R it is. Well, Sridhar knows most of the answers to Joy Bhattacharya's questions. Congratulations, Sridhar. Keep the answers coming in. We love seeing your name.
I'm absolutely convinced. This was an easy one, but Joy himself answers under 4
Neighbor,
or 5
no?
minutes.
Sridhar might be Joy sir's neighbor.
That's
what we said the
terrible. You
last time.
can't say that. That's terrible.
I mean, sometimes he said such tough questions that nobody should know the answer.
And Sridhar gets it.
Somebody else. Yeah.
Well, Mr. Joy Bhattacharya, Harsha and Pommie are not happy that the questions are getting easier and easier by the day. Harsha is joining us tomorrow. Pommie isn't. So I think you have the morning to come up with tough questions. That's the only window that he'll have.
We'll WhatsApp it to Pommie.
Yeah, we'll WhatsApp it to Pommie.
Yeah.
But
He's sleeping in. Tommy's sleeping in.
Sleeping in, and I think we should also get to sleep because it's 12:10 and we have a long day tomorrow.
Do we?
have a double header.
Do you have a long day?
No, she was looking at me and saying,
We?
Oh, right.
You're sleeping in.
Yes, we have a long day tomorrow. Pommie has got a big smile on his face because he's going to wake up late, take a flight and go to Chennai.
Oh, yeah, Chennai.
Yes.
I have to go to Chennai, yes.
I am keeping a track of
Okay.
your secretary.
Thanks for reminding me.
But thank you so much for the lovely day. I'm going to be seeing you tomorrow and it's always nice to have you all day because not tomorrow, today. So I'll be seeing you today. I'll be seeing lots of energy in the studio, and Pommie, I'll see you soon, very soon. So thank you so much. And thank you to all you wonderful people who are watching us and sat through this big high scoring game. But tomorrow we're going to have 2 exciting games. So don't forget to join us, rest, sleep, and see us tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Good night and goodbye.
Jaipur via Kota.
कृपया ध्यान आपको अहमदाबाद
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत
Lucknow Junction.
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವರೈ ಚೆನ್ನೈ
পরবর্তী স্টেশন নেতাজি ভবন। कृपया ध्यान दो